Any team with playoff designs knows you have to win within your division and also win at home. And last night the Sox did both, coming from behind in dramatic fashion to knock off the Indians in the bottom of the ninth. And tonight, Hector Noesi gets his second start of the season. And the Sox look to keep the home cooking hot on a cold Chicago night. Next, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Avi Garcia, Alexei Ramirez and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Jason Kipnis, Michael Bradley, Carlos Santana, and the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson. We get set to bring you Game 2 of this 3-game set and Game 2 of this 5-game home. Let's check this 7-game homestand. It'll be 3 with these guys and finish it off with 4 against Kansas City. But in the game last night, for the first time since April of 2005, the Sox, in the bottom of the ninth inning, overcame a 3-run deficit and they won that ball game 4-3.
It was so exciting, and when you do nothing for the better part of 8.5 innings, you figure, well, the game might be over. But Avisail Garcia starts it off with an innocent double down the line. This one over the head of Micah Vilas, who's an infielder by trade playing center field, came back to haunt the Indians. And the Sox continue to pour it on. Gordon Beckham, who came in defensively, gets a base hit, as does Adam Eaton. And then it's up to Melky Cabrera. And Melky with the bases loaded, the winning run at third base, hits one to left center field, and the comeback is complete. The Sox win in dramatic fashion. It was one of those games that you read about for other teams. You don't see it very often with the Sox, but last night was very exciting.
Well, Hector Noesi making his second start, but his opponent tonight is a very lucky young man.
Last time we saw Carlos Carrasco, he was down on the ground, wreathing in the dirt, and he got a line drive right off his face. It was a week ago, and Melky Cabrera up. Carlos went down, and for a while he lost consciousness. But fortunately, no fractures, no breaks at all, no concussion, and here he is 1 week later getting a start. Now, his 2-5 lifetime against our Sox, his ERA up over 5. You don't know about the psychological aspect of an injury like that. We'll see today. If he's not getting the ball over the plate, then it's still bothering him, and the Sox can win the first 2 of this series.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Audi, truth in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field on a very chilly night. It's 46 degrees at game time, and let's take a look at how Terry Francona is going to line up his Indians. Michael Bourne to lead it off, and he hasn't done much this year with Jason Kipnis in the 2 spot. Then it's Michael Brantley just back in the starting lineup. Carlos Santana in the 4 spot with Brandon Moss, David Murphy, Lonnie Chisenhall, Roberto Perez, and Jose Ramirez at shortstop hitting 9th. The Sox defense, and how they'll line up behind Hector Nuese, left to right, Melky Cabrera, Adam Eaton, and Aviseo Garcia. With Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Micah Johnson, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Hector Nuese, who had a start skipped. So we'll see how his control is today. He's 0-1 his ERA, pretty respectable at 3.86. He didn't make it through the 5th inning as one start this year, and we'll see how things go tonight. The umpires for the ball game tonight, Eric Cooper, who's got a pretty good strike zone as far as a pitcher is concerned behind the plate. He's the crew chief, with Dan Bellino at first, Lance Barksdale at second, and Quinn Wolcott is at third. So the Sox come into this one at 5-7. The Indians 4-8. And they've thrown a ball around the infield, which means that we're ready for baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox Baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this 3-game series. And Michael Bourne, 32-year-old center fielder, first pitch of the ball game is taken for a strike. And you just hit it right on the head as far as Eric Cooper goes. Hitters, if they don't know he's a pitcher's umpire by now, shame on him.
He's got a consistent zone. It is a wide zone, and you got to go up swinging the bat.
1-1 to count. Indians come in hitting at .218 as a team with a 4.06 ERA. One and two.
Bourne hit .357 last year in 106 games. Gone are the days when he was going to steal 40 bases, but they still need him to get on at the top.
High pop up. Alexi.
One thing you have to worry about with Jason Kipnis, he tried it last night, but the pitch actually followed him as he went up the line. He will bunt on occasion. And with that in mind, Connor Gillespie, well off the line at third, but even with the bag. However, on the right side, both Abreu and Johnson back.
First pitch strike. And the count, 1-1. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gap, send 400 straightaway center. Got him on the fist with that one.
Against right-handers, Kipnis is hitting .348. This Indian team is a much better team against a right-handed starter. They're just 1 in 5 when a lefty takes them out because they're a stronger left-hand hitting lineup than they are right-hand hitting lineup.
Just did get a piece of it. If you missed that game last evening, it was something. First time since April 6th, 2005. And it was against Cleveland that we overcame a 9th inning deficit of 3 or more runs to win. And that's out of play at left side.
Absolutely amazing comeback because it started with 1 out, nobody on. Started against Cody Allen, who's 3 for 3 in save situations, although he's been having some curveball problems. And he actually said after the game that his curveball is a little too big and loopy. He wants to tighten it up. He also said he was making a lot of mistakes with the fastball, all up in the zone.
Right side, Micah.
With the bases loaded, a high fastball in a situation where you have to get a ground ball, and Melky Cabrera ends it all. What a comeback.
Michael Brantley 1 for 4 last night with an RBI. Michael comes in at 208, no homers. He's driven in 3. Just off the plate.
Michael had some back issues in spring training that set him back for a while, and then was out of 4 ball games for the Indians, so he's getting a late start, and they certainly have to have him clicking on all 4 cylinders.
That ball hit deep into right field, but we got a man there. Ivy makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning after a half inning of play. It's the Indians nothing and the good guys coming to bat.
Up and Melky Cabrera in the 2 spot. Jose Abreu, Adam LaRoche, Avisail Garcia, Connor Gillespie, Alexei Ramirez, Tyler Flowers, and Micah Johnson playing second and hitting 9th. The defense and how they'll line up behind Carlos Carrasco. It's Brantley, Bourne, and Moss in the outfield with Chisenhall, Ramirez, Kipnis, and Santana in the infield. Roberto Perez behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Carlos Carrasco. In 2 starts, 1 lasting just 2 hitters. He's 1-1, his ERA 2.84. Lifetime against our Sox, he's had a hard time. His ERA up over 5. He's 2-5 lifetime, and we'll see if there are some psychological effects from that line drive he took off his face. See if he can get the ball over the plate early in this one.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as first pitch strike to Adam Eaton. Comes in hitting at 149. But he's been walking a little bit. In fact, he's drawn a leadoff walk the last 2 ball games.
Usually it starts for hitters. They start drawing walks and then they start to hit. Adam is not hitting very well, but he is starting to see the ball better. You can't take bases on balls unless you're seeing it well, and he's a good hitter. He's just not hitting, and he looks back at Perez giving him some time to collect himself as he took one right off the mask.
Outfield swung around to the left. Chisenhall well off the line to third as that pitch is well outside.
Carrasco had some problems as a starter. They moved him to the bullpen. He simplified his motion, now making every one of his pitches from the stretch. And that allowed him to get the ball over the plate.
Chops that one foul.
He is the last remnant on this Indian team from the deal that sent Cliff Lee to the Philadelphia Phillies. And they signed Carrasco to a $22 million long-term deal. So it gives him some security. Counting last year, in his last 12 starts, his ERA below 1.5. So Mickey Callaway has worked wonders with him. And the Indians have themselves a top of the rotation starter when he's right.
Foul tipped, hung on 2, and that's 1 out. So with 1 out, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angio, our director and the crew. Adam. Steve's going with Cabrera. And Tom. Phyllis Leonakis along with Deb. We're going to go with Micah Johnson.
I think the crew is adding some of those wins on the off days. I believe they've got 4 already.
Oh, yeah. So here's Cabrera. Hitting at 260. 6 for 11 lifetime with a home run against Carrasco. Into the count.
That's what it's like, and it is very windy. The wind at 21 miles an hour, but gusts over 30 miles an hour at the ballpark. Very much a factor.
Two down, 2 strikeouts.
Good hard slider low and in. Carrasco has both a slider and a curveball to go with a straight change. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. And now that he's able to get everything around the strike zone, he's finally fulfilling the promise that he had when he was one of the top prospects in the Philadelphia organization.
There's a strike to Abreu. Comes in hitting at 255. 3 homers. He's driven in 7. And he is 2 for 10 lifetime off Carrasco.
Despite the fact that Cleveland is playing .333 baseball, they've averaged over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. So the pitching staff has done a pretty decent job. As a team, they're just not hitting.
David Robertson averaging 18 strikeouts per 9 innings.
He's been somewhat magnificent.
One and 2.
In fact, last night when Chisenhall led off the 9th, making contact, that was something special because he's fanned 8 of the last 9 men he's faced.
They go back. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Solo shot for Jose Abreu, and the Sox lead it 1-0.
Home run number 4. It ties him for the team lead and runs batted in with Adam LaRoche and Alexei Ramirez. They all have 8. Our forward home run replay, and that is a hanging slider or curveball. You can tell by the way Perez wanted it away, and it just spun on the inside part of the plate. He lost the grip on that, and it cost him.
Yeah, Kelvin Herrera. First inning home run for Jose. As LaRoche takes a strike to even the count at 1.
Yeah, Kelvin Herrera lost the grip on it, except amazingly enough, it went behind Brett Lowry.
At 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd have kept the grip. How fast it would have been.
That was a particularly nasty series after that slide at second base that took Alcides Escobar out for a few days. Fortunately, Escobar is back. He's a great young talent, and he means the world to Kansas City.
2-2. Got him. He strikes out the side, but not before. Abreu with his 4th homer. After 1, it is 1-0 White Sox. Seen in its entirety on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, and please go to csnchicago.com for the CSN Plus channel number in your area and switch over now to watch the rest of tonight's White Sox game. And talking about csnchicago.com, Dan Hayes. And Dan, what you got for us tonight?
Well, we've seen, Hawk, a little bit of Adam Eaton showing some signs that he's emerging from this slump to start the season, but he's made it pretty clear that he's wearing it. You know, he's having a tough time dealing with this season opening slump. Basically he likes being that guy that kind of comes in and, as he said, the straw that stirs the drink. And he feels like a lot of the expectations that the team has had, the big expectations, that he's sort of letting people down. He feels Melky Cabrera's numbers are attached to his. Jose Abreu, Adam LaRoche, and really wants to get going and admits he's probably pressing a little bit and trying to do too much.
Well, that's one of the biggest killers in life, especially in sports, is expectations. And you have to learn how to deal with them. I mean, you're not going to ever be anything as far as realizing your potential until you can handle expectations.
And he did say that he started to realize it, and we've seen it the other day a couple times on the bases. It's shown itself in that way. Robin Ventura talked about that yesterday, saying he thinks he's trying to do too much, but Adam knows he needs to slow things down. He liked some of the things that he did yesterday, obviously the 2 walks, but also that 9th inning at bat. And Robin Ventura said that was a huge lift for him, just because it could have gone one way or the other. And you know, he fell behind Cody Allen 0-2 and knew that the curveball was coming, sat, waited for those 2 curveballs to go by, even the count, and then took the fastball left field for the base hit.
Well, nobody likes to start off the season 5-7. And again, the expectations make that even more dire, so to speak. But everybody knows this is a good ball club. And for people to, I think, start jumping to conclusions right now is a big mistake, especially our players.
And you look at the offense and what they've done, and I think it's 6 games and 2 runs or fewer.
That ball hit deep, and this game is tied at 1. Santana's 3rd homer.
But yeah, the offense obviously not getting on base. I think they're 299 on base percentage right now. They think they'll be a little bit better, and that 12 games is tough to just look at that and think that's what it's going to carry out through the season.
Well, a couple of days ago, we had the best batting average in baseball as far as runners in scoring position. The only problem was we didn't have many guys in scoring position, so that negated that.
And Adam Eaton below 200, Melky Cabrera sitting around 260. Those are guys at 360 and 340 on base percentages.
Well, Dan Hayes, thank you very much, buddy. And I'm sure that they're going to get this thing cranked up. Dan Hayes from CSNChicago.com. Brandon Moss. 1-1 to count.
It's our 4th home run replay, and you'll notice that Santana is able to get on top of a high fastball. Most unusual. Most left-handers like Brandon Moss have uppercut swings, and they're not going to get to the high fastball. And Santana was able to do it. He's a switch hitter with power from both sides of the plate, and he tied it up. And usually that's a spot where you figure you can throw it by him.
Well, Brandon Moss, you can. That series we saw in Cleveland, I mean, he didn't hit anything. He couldn't hit anything from the belt up. Here you go. 1 down.
Good straight change after setting him up with high fastballs. That one had late movement. Perfect spot. And Moss goes down on strikes. First strikeout of the night for Hector.
And here's the veteran David Murphy, 33 years old, 2 for 11 lifetime with a homer against Noesi.
Nobody could get Murphy from Texas after 2012. He hit 304 that year. It was a big year for him. 61 driven in.
That ball hit deep into right center field. But Adam Eaton is there.
And Murphy part of a platoon system that Terry Francona hopes is effective. Right now this team playing 500 ball against right-handed starters. But we talked about the fact that they're just 1-5 against lefties. They've had their problems when a southpaw takes the hill, and the Sox have a lot of those.
Lonnie Chisenhall fouls it back. He was 0 for 4 last evening. Comes in at 216.
Indians drafted Chisenhall #1, 29th player chosen overall in 2008. High school, he was a pitcher. Threw upwards of 95 miles an hour, so he's a pretty good athlete. Also played a little shortstop, but became a full-time hitter.
Fights that one off. One in, 2 out. And the 1-2 pitch.
Edgar's throwing a lot harder tonight than we've seen. Probably because he did miss a start. He was pushed back, so his arm is fresh. He's had that fastball up to 96 miles an hour.
That's high into center field. That should be a can of corn. But the good top hand of Carlos Santana. Rockets one out of here, and we're tied at 1. A 1 series lead over the Nashville Predators starting at 8 on Comcast Sportsnet. Two solo homers, one by Abreu, one by Santana. And here for us in the second, it'll be Garcia, Gillespie, and Ramirez. Bobby hitting a 308, a homer. He's driven in 3. Started off that comeback last evening with a 1-out double right over the bag at first.
What I liked about the way he started is he's using the whole field. Foul line to foul line, taking the ball back up the middle when he's had the opportunity.
Ty Stevenson's got him in a good frame of mind.
He's not overswinging. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the park because he's strong enough where if he gets a good piece of it, it's going out anyway.
And it sounds like that's something that should be done with every hitter. The only problem is, as he gets in there, tough pitch. The only problem is that the way a lot of guys are, they just won't allow themselves to be in a good frame of mind. They will, as long as everything's going good, but when things start to go a little shaky, which they're going to in this game, they panic mentally.
Well, I think a lot of strong guys think about hitting the ball out of the park in most every situation instead of going with the count and taking what the pitcher is going to give them.
That's into left field for out number 2. Well, we talk so much about the count because it's actually, between the pitcher and the hitter, the most important thing going. And if you learn to hit with the count, which some guys, it takes them a while to learn, and some guys learn it very quickly, like a big hurt Frank Thomas when he first came in. Other guys never learn it. They have the same swing on 0-2 as they do on 2-0.
Well, if you're a young hitter, you can understand it. If you become a few years in the league and you still have that philosophy, you're not going to hit.
Alexei jumps all over first ball fastball. And he's going to give it a go. Here's the throw. Safe. Picks up his 4th two-bagger.
Sox know that they're going to run on Michael Bourne every chance they get, especially when he drifts into right center field. So Alexei never hesitated. He got a high fastball, drove it into right field, even though Bourne got to it quickly. Alexei's thinking 2 bases. And you got to hustle out of the box to wind up at second base here. And again, this is pre-series meeting. They tell you be careful with Brantley. He's very accurate in left field, but run on Bourne every chance you get.
Here's Tyler. Tyler hitting at .333 with a homer. He's driven in 4. Had a big base hit in that 9th inning last evening. That's got the right size, but the wrong shape.
That's one of the few times that Carrasco has missed with the changeup. That time he got it up and in. Tyler just unloaded, reminiscent of one he hit in Cleveland. He hit it a mile, but hit it foul, and that brings Perez out from behind the plate. Wants to talk to him about that straight change and the philosophy of if you miss down. See the second pitch on our Menards pitch tracks. That was the high changeup. For the most part, he's been very effective with that changeup here in the early going.
That one he hit in Minnesota would be over that pitch count 29 sound out there in the upper deck.
That was a blast. The Minnesota one was a lot longer than the one he hit in Cleveland.
Got that one by him at 95. Well, I'm just extremely happy to see that young man right there out on the mound. Did not miss a turn, which is almost unbelievable if you'd have been there and saw it as we did.
We did say that he lost consciousness for a bit, and 1 week later he's back starting a major league game.
Amazing.
It is.
It truly is. It's just remarkable. One of those, you believe in miracles, that was a mini miracle. Alexei at second, 2 out. Fouls that one back.
Tried to run that fastball right by him. He tried to get it up and in. It had a little more of the plate than he would have liked. That's why Tyler was able to stay alive.
Outfield straight up, about equidistant. And CSN again will be leaving this game at 8 o'clock for Chicago Blackhawks playoff coverage. Tonight's Sox game can be seen in its entirety on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. So please go to csnchicago.com or the CSN Plus channel number in your area and switch over now to watch the rest of tonight's White Sox game. And that'll do it. We are tied at 1.
Game brought to you by Miller Lite.
Roberto Perez will lead it off. He'll be followed by Jose Ramirez, and back to the top of the order with Michael Bourne. Perez, 26-year-old receiver, going to get a lot of playing time because of the injury to Yan Gomes.
That's a huge loss to the Indians, their silver slugger catcher.
Perez takes strike 1. He's got a couple of homers. He's driven in 4.
Perez was always good defensively. That wasn't the problem. The problem was swinging the bat. And Ty Van Berkeley, the hitting coach, worked with him. Tried to shorten up his leg kick. Coordinate it with his hands so that he wasn't out in front of everything. And since then, he has power, and he's shown it this year.
Well, a lot of times coaches try to get a guy to shorten up their swing. And they do it with, trying to think mechanics, something mechanical. Whatever. With the legs, the feet, arms. When the best way to get a guy to shorten up his swing is just go up there for a while and take a 2-strike approach. When you step in that batter's box, face that pitcher for the first time, you're thinking you've got 2 strikes on. Makes you look at the ball a little bit longer.
And just try to make contact.
That's it.
And usually good things happen if you make contact.
Other guys will go in there sometimes with a 1-strike approach. They're hitting 0-1. And then when you're going good and everything, and the stars are in line, and metabolism,
yeah, biorhythms,
everything is shape.
Yeah.
You go up there and you just hit. That's when hitting is easy. He gone. 2 strikeouts now.
Both strikeouts have come off the straight change. As you can see, he's got Perez well out in front of it.
So here's the good-looking young 22-year-old switch-hitting shortstop. Two and 0 the count. Big gap out there in left center. Gillespie off the line. Eden with the bag at third. Three and one. You want to walk him? He's 3 for 3 in stolen bases. The Indians are 6 for 7 in that category. Pops him up left side.
Join us at U.S. Cellular Field for an exciting White Sox baseball season. Pick 7 plan offers the fans a flexible 7-game plan that features savings off individual game tickets. Pick 7 plans start as low as $55 per plan. For tickets or more information, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000.
Michael Bourne popped up to Alexi. Two-year-old veteran. And the 1-1 pitch. Mark Burley in Toronto leading Baltimore 10-2. That game in the bottom of the 5th up in Canada. And this is going to be a nice 1-2-3 inning. This is 6 in a row retired by Hector after that home run by Santana. Chicago Blackhawks playoff coverage. Tonight's Sox game can be seen in its entirety on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Plus, go to csnchicago.com for the CSN Plus channel number in your area and switch over now to watch the rest of tonight's White Sox game. Tied at 1 here in the bottom of the third. Micah Johnson will lead it off as the corners come in close. Outfield swings around to the left. Takes the bunt, takes the ball.
It's a good situation for Micah because now it's gotten around the league that he not only is going to push the ball to third base, but drag the ball to first. Meaning in this case, Chisenhall and Santana both in very close at the corners.
And he drills that one in the hole.
That's exactly what happens when you do bring him in close. There's absolutely no angle for the corner men to make anything happen. So now one of the speed burners on this team aboard to lead off the inning. Micah doing a better job recently of doing what they'd like him to do, which is hit the ball on the ground and take advantage of his speed. When he hits it in the air, especially to left and left center field, he's not doing himself any favors. And, you know, that's just learning what to do in the major leagues.
Well, that's just where Todd Stevenson's trying to do. Yep. He's trying to change his mindset. And everybody's going to be safe. I love that.
It's a great bunt.
I love the bunt.
And Adams been working on that. I mean, that has to be part of his arsenal. And he's in the same situation as Micah Johnson. If you can lay a bunt down, and the great bunter Brett Butler, who's from Libertyville just up the road, used to say that if you get 5 bunt hits a month, it's another 30 points on your batting average. So a 270 hitter, if he can bunt, becomes 300, which is exactly what Adam did last year.
Cabrera struck out on a tough pitch. Quick slider down and in. And that's out of play. And this is what you want to see from Micah Johnson in the 9 hole and Adam Eaton in the 1 hole.
Well, Micah Johnson just turned around and did something that you've been talking about all year. He turned around and looked at every one of the outfielders to find out where they are. Pretty good habit to get into.
Well, you got to do it. It's just that simple. I mean, that's how simple it is. It's just that simple.
Just turn around and take a look.
Just turn around and glance. You don't have to stare them down. Just glance and get an idea of where they are. So when that ball's hit, all of a sudden it computes in your mind and you're off and running or you're holding. That off-speed pitch, lay off, and the count 1-2. Boy, he had a good at bat last night. That 2-2 curveball he laid off was just a magnificent professional hitter take.
Actually, the best curveball that Cody Allen threw, and it was down and out of the zone. Very few guys could have laid off. He did, and then got the base hit.
So back him up. 2 down.
Perez out there to talk with Carrasco about being very careful with the big man. Abreu hit a home run in the first inning, and you've got a couple of bases to work with, even with Adam LaRoche on. I think Perez is telling him, you got to be a little careful with this guy because he is the most devastating hitter in this lineup.
Abreu has accounted for hours with his 4th homer. And if you missed it, poof.
Hanging breaking ball on the inside part of the plate and gone.
Breaking ball strike, go 1. That's out of play. That's the fastball at 96. And once again, we'll be leaving this game at 8 o'clock. Blackhawks playoff coverage and tonight's Sox game can be seen in its entirety on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. So please go to CSNChicago.com for the CSN Plus channel number in your area and switch over to watch the rest of tonight's Sox game. Ball That's away. Throw it away. Nice play by Perez. Nice catch by Santana, and that'll retire the side. So we get the first 2 men aboard, but that's a good sign, and we're still tied at 1. No for us. It'll be Kipnis, Brantley, and Santana. One and one to count.
Another good straight change. That one down in the zone. Kipnis able to foul it off.
Yes, he did. Here you go.
Just barely got a piece of the bat. Fortunately, it sticks in the glove.
Here's Michael Brantley, one out. To Avi in right field. Outfield straight up and spread out. First pitch strike.
Looked like Brantley was right on that pitch in the first inning, so Hector's got to be very careful with him. He's starting to feel better, and he's a huge presence in that lineup when he's feeling good. 97 runs driven in last year. Hit 327, 20 home runs. That doubled his career best coming into last season, so a breakout year for Brantley. And the Indians will go nowhere unless he has a similar type season.
That's hit hard, but just a strike. And the count 0-2.
Heller gave him a very high target. He wanted that fastball face high. It was a little too high to be inviting.
Foul tipped.
Tyler Flowers is convinced that Hector can throw the fastball by him upstairs. And he's been trying to do just that since it was 0-2, and he's fouled off a couple of them. There you see 3, 4, and 5 have all been upstairs after jumping ahead 0-2.
Out in front on the off speed. Jose, like he should, will take it himself 2 out.
Join the White Sox for our first taste testing of brand new food at the ballpark this Thursday, April 23rd. You receive a game ticket and a tasting ticket to try sample-sized portions of our food items, including bacon on a stick. That's new at the ballpark, and there's some other new tasty treats for you to try. To purchase specially priced tickets, visit whitesox.com/taste.
Santana top-handed a fastball out of here for his 3rd homer of the year. Indians now with 10 home runs this year. Every one of them a solo homer, and everyone on the road this year.
You can always use a pretzel at the ballpark.
Connor has moved from 3rd into short right field. Don't give him a cookie. 3-0. High strike is called.
That was a real high strike. Take a look at where the 4 appears on the Honda pitch tracks. We told you about the generous zone of Eric Cooper to stay that way the entire game. Of course, 3-0, you're not going to swing at anything up there.
Another high strike. First walk at you by Hector. And here's Brandon Moss. He struck out his first trip.
Last year had a good year, but it was a miraculous year before the All-Star break. He had 21 home runs before the break and just 4 after the break.
There goes the runner. Safe.
Sometimes you take for granted that a former catcher is not going to run too often. Hector a little slow to the plate, and that allowed Santana to beat the play. Santana now 2 out of 2 in the stolen base department.
That's fouled over our dugout. Two out. Santana at second and a 2-2 pitch. Fourth coming. He gone. 4 strikeouts, and we're still tied at 1. Three games to nothing over the Bucks. Coverage starts at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Bottom of the fourth inning, it'll be LaRoche, Garcia, and Gillespie to face Carlos Carrasco in a 1-1 tie.
Young fan all bundled up. There's some older fans bundled up.
45 degrees here at the park as we speak.
Not getting any warmer anytime soon, I don't think.
So here's Adam, struck out his first trip.
It's going to be quite a matchup in the ball game in the series finale tomorrow. Their ace and Cy Young Award winner last year, Corey Kluber, goes to the mound against Jeff Samardzija. Fresh off just an outstanding performance head-to-head with David Price in Detroit, where he got an 8-inning no decision.
Chopper, 3 hopper.
White Sox invite fans to celebrate Hispanic heritage at the ballpark with Dia de Familia. First 20,000 fans to enter U.S. Cellular Field receive a Jose Abreu Rookie Blanket of the Year, or a Rookie of the Year blanket, whichever you want. Presented by Bigger's Pizza. Learn more at whitesox.com/familia. We saw those blankets yesterday, and they are beautiful.
That ball lined right at him. That's a hang Wolfham for Avi. Hit it right on the money. That'll bring up Gillespie. He went out to Michael Brantley in left field. Had him out in front. Fouls it up with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
A lot of people were surprised that Carrasco signed that 4-year, $22 million extension to his contract, which took him out of a year of free agency. It's because he had a non-invasive heart procedure in the offseason. And he was thinking about his family and the family's security when he signed that deal. Now, there's a few people in the Players Association maybe not real happy with what they consider below-market contract.
Well, that's none of their business.
No, players have to take care of themselves and their family, and he had some issues that he felt he wanted to get security. He's going to be a terrific pitcher. Odds are overwhelming if he stays together that he's going to be able to sign a big contract after this one. In the meantime, now he doesn't have to worry about much.
One, two, three inning for Carlos, and we're into the fifth, still tied at 1.
Is today's T-Mobile game changer. Now, he wouldn't have had an opportunity to hit all of these triples, and he's got 5, which is as many as the Tigers, Oakland, San Diego, and San Francisco as a team. If Alex Rios doesn't break his hand, but given that opportunity, the first player ever to hit 5 triples in his first 7 major league games, he's making the most of it.
Here's Murphy. Lie deep to center field his first trip. 1-1-0 for them, 1-4-0 for us. Uh-oh. It is 2-1 Indians. First homer of the year.
The 11th solo home run and the 11th hit on the road for the Tribe. So Hector's made 2 mistakes, and it's 2 solo shots. Our forward home run replay. This ball right where a left-hand hitter likes it, low and in, and out.
Here's Chisenhall, and that's going to stay foul. Top of the 7th in Detroit. Yankees leading the Tigers 4-0. Got that one by. And the count 0-2. Good pitch, got it in on him. Little soft comebacker. 1 out.
Hector's made the most of that straight change. He had Chisenhall well out in front. He could only tap it right back to him. So the changeup has been good. Forced him to expand his zone, go out of the strike zone. He's made a couple of mistakes on fastballs, and he's down 2-1.
Catcher Roberto Perez, the strikeout victim, leading off the 3rd inning. One, 2 the count. Bottom of the 5th in Kansas City. Twinkies and the Royals are tied at 1. Out in front of that change. Gave that one away a little bit.
That was up a little higher than he would have liked. But all in all, pretty good outing tonight for Hector. Especially pitching on extended rest where he was skipped because of a couple of off days. You worry about control, but he's gotten the ball over the plate.
He gone. 2 down.
There was another straight change, and that had the entire plate. So he fooled Perez with that one. You see good side and downward spin on that, so he's getting some late movement.
Jose Ramirez, the shortstop, he popped up to his counterpart Alexei. Corners in close.
Ramirez has been a very good fielder, always has, but he also realizes that their #1 prospect, Francisco Lindor, is not all that far away. He wants to show a few people that he can play. So far he's done a nice job defensively, but the bat has been lagging behind.
Alexei is going to get him again. But the solo shot by Murphy. We're halfway home, trailing 2-1. We trail it 2-1 here in our half of the fifth inning. They have 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 solo homers. We have 1 run on 4 hits. That was a solo homer by Abreu. And here's Alexei, had a hustle double his first trip.
Get a first ball fastball the first time up, and the adjustment by Carrasco was first pitch curveball.
Alexei now with 198 doubles in his career. Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. Chisenhall just a couple of steps behind the bag, playing him perfectly right at him.
Sox fans, join us on Saturday, April 25th at 1:10 as your White Sox take on the Royals. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Jose Abreu 2014 Rookie of the Year blanket presented by Beggar's Pizza. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com/promos.
Here's Tyler. Struck out his first trip on a very, very difficult pitch. But it did have a little bitty piece of the strike zone. But Tyler's been having some good at bats. His approach has been better. Ball hit sharply down to Chisenhall, who was playing way back. And 2 down.
Well, an injury that's going to affect the White Sox happened in Milwaukee. Milwaukee off to just a terrible start. They're 2-11. Jonathan Lucroy, their everyday catcher who hit .301 last year, broke his toe. By his description, he said he broke it in half. It just has to heal. And he's going to be lost 4 to 6 weeks. Sox go up there the 11th of May for a 3-game series as they take on Milwaukee at Miller Park.
Yeah, there was some. I was listening to MLB radio yesterday, and they were talking about a lot of people thinking Lucroy, who was the most valuable player on that ball club.
He's a terrific player. Last year, 4th in the National League MVP voting. When you lose a player of that magnitude and you're struggling anyway, it causes some big problems. When you get a catcher that can lead the major leagues with 53 doubles, it's pretty impressive.
All right, a 1-2-3 inning. We have completed 5 when we trail it 2-1. 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 solo homers. We have 4 hits and 1 run. That was a solo homer. Santana, Murphy for them, Abreu for us. So here's the top of the order. Michael Bourne tries to bunt it, just jabs at it, flips it right into our dugout.
Really amazing that a lot of guys who run well, and Bourne does that even these days. Technique is just not particularly good. He's shaking his head because he knows when you drop the head of the bat, you're going to pop the ball up. No other place for it to go.
Making plans to be with us tomorrow. Now the other 3-game set. Jeff Samardzija against Corey Kluber. And of course the shark cage will be open tomorrow. Where you're very good at taking the bag like he should. First baseman should take everything he can on those ground balls. Too many guys will make the play on the ground ball, wait for the pitcher to get over there when they got plenty of time.
Terry Francona went out there to have a word with Eric Cooper. No idea what it's about. It's a routine ground out. Now ball's gotten away. And Avi makes a friend.
So it's a 1-out situation.
A routine ground ball. Terry wanted a word with Eric Cooper. And he got it.
It's back through the middle. He's now 1 for 3.
He's a lifetime .361 hitter here at U.S. Cellular Field. Maybe one of the factors is that he's from just up the road in Northbrook. So I'm sure every time he comes to Cleveland, he has a lot of friends and family that come to watch him. Here you see Sandy Alomar, the first base coach.
He's living here in Chicago now. Born in Northbrook and raised there and living here. Brantley is going out to right and grounded to first. Yeah, but you can get your ticket down that shark cage tomorrow when Jeff's out on that bump against Corey Kluber. $20 will get you a shark cage cap, strikeout card. Off the end of the bat, that's trouble. So that'll be a base hit.
That one probably not a ball that Connor should have thrown, because Brantley's got very good speed. This ball squibbed off the end of the bat, and the only thing that can happen here is this ball goes down the line into right field. Jose did a nice job of coming off, making sure that the runners have to stay at first and second. So Hector in a jam here in the top of the 6th.
Santana has homered and walked. Also picked up a stolen base. Jacks it up and takes the strike.
Carlos Rodon ready to make his major league debut, and there's Bobby Thigpen trying to calm him down. And you know that The adrenaline is flowing.
Something you've been dreaming about since you were in Little League, or even before then.
What's really great is to have a bullpen coach who was a terrific major league reliever. Great closer in his day, but he knows exactly what Carlos is going through. And he's out there to try to give him a little perspective, but it's not going to stop his heart from pounding.
Well, that's what the bullpen coach should be, is a former reliever. Like Tiggy was, 57 saves, American League record for a long time. And get them ready mentally to come in. And when Tiggy was pitching, to have the bases loaded and one out, and you got to face Eddie Murray and you got to face Kenny Singleton and those guys. Of course, in my time zone, you get those relievers come in having to face bases loaded, and you had Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, and Elston Howard coming up.
The advantage for Mickey was that he could hit from either side, so it didn't really matter. But in the case of Rodon, if Hector doesn't get Santana to ground into a double play, odds are overwhelming he'll come in to face Moss, who's going to be taken down then most likely for a pinch hitter.
I don't care what side you're hitting from. You got to get them ready mentally to come in. That's high in the right field, deep into the corner, but Javi's got room. He will make the catch, get it back in. So Kipnis tags, moves into third. 2 down, runners at the corners. Moss been on the plate twice and struck out twice.
It could very well be that Tyler's going out there on instructions from the dugout to kill a little time. Rodon's a lifetime starter, so they want to make sure that he's good and loose if in fact he is going to come into this one. And Eric Cooper is looking over in the dugout. He sees Robin walking out, so it would appear that Carlos Rodon is going to come into this for the first time as a major leaguer, and as he runs in from the pen, we'll step out and be back after these messages.
What a thrill for that young man.
His former #1 pick last year, Carlos Rodon. And there's no easing into this situation. He's got runners at the corners, 2 outs. And it looks like Terry Francona is going to stay with Brandon Moss. So you look at the numbers from Charlotte. That's in 2 starts, 13 strikeouts in 10 innings. Left-handers did not get a hit, and that's who he'll be facing with a very fast man at third base, and Jason Kipnis.
Now, 22-year-old southpaw is 6'3", 235 pounds. He's a big man. North Carolina State. Outfield straight up, spread out. Cleveland on top 2-1. Fastball at 97.
Brantley's at first with pretty good speed.
And the count goes to 3-0. And that'll load him up.
Now Murphy's being called back. And he'll be taken down for a pinch hitter.
Probably Rayburn.
And it does look like Ryan Rayburn.
So Rayburn, who was 2 for 3 last night with a homer and a double. A legitimate Sox killer. He has 77 career RBIs against us, which is unbelievable.
Now Eric Cooper wants to break up the conversation with Tyler Flowers. He's trying to settle down his left-hander, who is coursing with adrenaline, missing with 4 straight to Moss. Now he's got to face a pretty dangerous hitter against our Sox.
Two down, Sox packed with Clevelanders. And here comes Coop.
Five straight bad ones, and the youngster is listening to a veteran pitching coach trying to do what he can to get him to just relax, if that's possible, and throw the ball in the zone. If you get hit, you get hit. Chris Sale also made his major league debut out of the bullpen, so he certainly knows exactly what Rodon is going through.
That's pretty good pitch, didn't get it.
That one could have easily gone Rodon's way. Cooper normally with a wide plate does not give him the benefit of the call.
That one at 96.
Well, if you're Rayburn, you're looking dead red and nothing else. Career against the Sox, 301.
And the count 3-1.
When you're looking fastball at 96 and you take it off the facing of the upper deck, you're very happy that he got out a little too quickly.
Payoff pitch.
That one almost took Jason Kipnis with it. He was coming down the line and fortunately able to duck under this. I mean, he is way off the line, even with the coach's box. Mike Sarbaugh wisely well away from the box, and Kipnis is down, but he gets back up.
And that one in 97, so he's not aiming it.
Right now he's looking for that strike zone with something on it, and it's going to be a fastball.
There's a broken bat flare into left field for a base hit, and that's going to score a pair. So it's a 4-1 lead. And Ryan Rayburn's absolutely just swings an unbelievable magic wand against us. All he's got to do is hit the ball, and it's going to find a hole, find a base hit.
That pitch was inside off the plate at 98 miles an hour. He was able to get his hands in, knowing it's going to be a fastball. The unfortunate part is that Carlos worked himself in a situation where you have too much adrenaline to throw the slider. And even at 98, he was able to just pretty much fist it out into left field.
We're probably the only team in baseball that he can hit that same pitch and get a base hit on.
No
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen this. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys hit clubs that I've been with hard. I don't think I've ever seen a guy swing more of a magic wand than Rayburn does and has against us.
Well, when you're looking at 79 runs batted in, and you add up the three next closest teams, put them all together, and they don't come close to 79, you realize how remarkable a job it is.
Well, I mean, he hits him off the end of the bat, breaks his bat, gets a base hit. Hits it solid, hits it out here for a home run. Hits it off the fist, breaks his bat, gets a base hit. There's another broken bat. And they get him. But the broken bat single, they score a pair, and they lead it 4-1.
But it's out of the way. And since 1987, Shingo Takatsu didn't have any minor league innings. Chris Sale had only 10 1/3. Jack McDowell 27 2/3. Sergio Santos with 28 2/3 before Carlos Rodon tonight had 34 1/3 minor league innings. And then there's Alex Fernandez. So it didn't go the way he wanted. We've had a few guys come up and talk to him, welcoming him to the big leagues. It will get better, and he will get the ball over the plate.
All right, boys, let's just go to work. Scott Atchison, new pitcher for the Tribe. Adams 1 for 2, had a beautiful bunt single back in the 3rd inning.
Carrasco was awfully good tonight. 5 innings, 4 hits, and a run. He didn't walk anybody, which was a concern coming back from that line drive in the face. And he fanned 10. So Atchison, the first man out of the chute, usually a pretty busy man. This time on for the 6th time, and he has yet to give up an earned run.
One out.
Hey, Sox fans, all season long, you can score with Papa John's Pizza. The day after the Sox score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off your entire online order at papajohns.com with the promo code SOX5 at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Here's Cabrera. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout, and hit to a 4-6-3 double play. Back through the middle into center field.
Atchison played on the Red Sox and the manager, Terry Francona. So he obviously liked what he did for him there and brought him over to the Sox with him.
Ball gets away, so Cabrera into second.
Perez tried to backhand that one. That's pretty tough to do. It is a wild pitch. And the Sox had a double play situation. Can't backhand it, then can't locate it. And Melky in at second.
One and one to count. Four 5-0 for them, 1 5-0 for us.
Atchison's been around since 1999. He's played in Japan. He's played just about all over this country.
So he's paid his dues.
He has indeed. 40-year-old right-hander.
2-2 pitch.
Bullpen up and going. McAllister, the right-hander. Zipchinski, the left-hander.
Two down.
Good hard slider. And Terry Francona looks like he wants to make a pitching change. It's probably going to be Mark Zipchinski against Adam LaRoche. So the night is done for Scott Atchison. And as Zipchinski trots in from the bullpen. We'll step out and be back after these messages. Of U.S. Cellular Field and delicious food and beverage options for you to enjoy prior and during White Sox games. Purchase a First Merit Bank Stadium Club membership by calling 312-674-1000. And our Honda call to the pen is Oak Lawn's Mark Zebchinski. Left-hander coming on to face Adam LaRoche. On for the 7th time. If you're in that pen for Terry Francona, you're going to get a lot of appearances.
Adam is 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out to Short, who was in the shift. Can't get the breaking ball. And the count 0-1.
Zebchinski has not given up a hit to a left-hander this year. He is the ultimate specialist. 6 appearances and a grand total of 2 innings.
Nice block or stop, I should say, by Perez.
Good mobility to his left. Perez is able to get to that one and keep it from going to the screen and keep Melky off third base.
You're just tuning in. We scored first. Home run by Abreu in the first inning. He tied it up. Home run by Santana in the second. They took the lead last inning. Home run by Murphy. Then a broken bat, 2-run single by Graber. It is 4-1 Indians.
Last year, Zebchinski allowed only 11 of 57 inherited runners to score. That's less than 20%, and that is pretty good.
So he gets him, and we're into the 7th, trailing by 3. Weed Street. Now the fun starts at 5 with on-location editions of Sports Talk Live and Bulls pregame live. Then stay for a huge night on CSN, including Game 3 in Milwaukee and Game 4 in Nashville. It's a 4-1 Cleveland lead here in the top of the 7th inning. Perez, Ramirez, and back to the top of the order with Bourne. Perez 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Takes ball 1.
Roberto hit .305 in AAA last year at Columbus before coming to the big leagues. Well, he played in 29 games with the Indians, but he did manage to hit .271, which isn't too bad for a guy they figured would be the backup catcher, Dion Gomes.
I don't know why his strike zone shrunk up now. It's a big pitch he missed on Moss as compared to the way he's been calling him all night. So 3-1 to count. A little tardy and a full count.
That one not high enough for Jose to be able to get under it. We're down the second pitcher born in the 90s to pitch for the Sox. The first, the unlikely Leury Garcia.
So there's ball 4. Leadoff walk. And here comes Ramirez, who twice has popped up to Alexei.
Could very well be that he's going to be asked to lay one down and move Perez along into scoring position. Gets chased out of there. Carlos is having some problems with the strike zone. No signs of a bunt.
Gillespie on the grass, right at the cut of the grass at third, outfield, fairly deep. Step far. Avi, who's in just a step or so. And the count goes to 2-0. Adrenaline's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it has to be smoothed out. 2-1. Busts it back, and that'll be 4-5-0 for the Tribe, 1-5-0 for our Sox. And a full count. Back-to-back walks.
This pitch is up and out of the strike zone. The appeal to Dan Bellino when he said he did not swing.
Here's the leadoff hitter, Michael Bourne, who's popped to short. Fly to center and grounded out to Abreu. Now we might see a bunt. As he takes the ball. And here comes Coop once again.
Nobody up in the pen, so this is just another talk to calm him down. He didn't have any control problems in the minor league, so this is just overamped, as they talk about on occasion. Robin looking over the lineup along with his bench coach Mark Parent and third base coach Joe McEwing. There you look at Ryan Rayburn pinch hitting for Murphy.
There's one. It's a good one. Sacrifice. 5-3.
Provide your guests with the ultimate all-inclusive White Sox experience in the Home Plate Club or Magellan Scout seats. These two premium seating areas are the best way to entertain your most important clients, employees, friends, or family. For more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/premium seating.
Gipnis takes it up high. Infield in. That one at 95. His fastball, if you're just turning in, runs you from 94 to 98. And a big pitch right there. Misses, goes Kipnis' way, and it's 2-1. Ball hit deep into left field. Way back. Well, if he gets back there, makes the catch. So Perez is going to tag and score, and it's a 5-1 ball game.
RBI number 4 for Kipnis, who just missed, taken out of the ballpark. Melky made a nice play, got the throw in, but not before Perez was able to score.
So here's Michael Brantley. He had a little infield single that came back and hurt us last inning. So 2 walks, sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly. And that's back through the middle. That's going to score another run, and it's a 6-1 ball game.
Fourth run batted in by Brantley. And the sacrifice pushed 2 men into scoring position. They both scored as his fastball right down the middle, taken right back up the middle.
Santana, a homer, a walk, and a deep drive to right field.
That's a good sign. It's the first slider that Carlos has gotten over the plate.
Count evens. Three and one. And it's full. Payoff pitch. Little soft looper. Ike is there, but they come up with a pair. 7th inning stretch. They lead it 6-1. 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. All right, boys, we need to do some work here, some woodwork. We trail it 6-1. First ball, Honey. One pitch, one out. Ivy now 0 for 3.
Number 12.
You can just imagine what's going through the young man's mind, fighting his control. Certainly fighting his emotions, and it's going to get a whole lot better for him, but right now you can't think about that. All he's thinking about is what happened here tonight.
This can be a precious moment in his life, and it is a precious moment, even though the expectation factor was there, the adrenaline factor was there. I know one thing. He's got a ton of talent. Whew.
And he's going to forever remember the walk to Moss and the base hit to Rayburn. Regardless of what happens the rest of his career, you always remember the first couple of guys you face, good or bad. But many years down the road, with a whole lot of success that he's going to have, it'll be distant, but it'll still be a memory.
Gillespie's gone, 2 down. He's now 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a fly out to left.
Get Sox Social. Stay connected to your White Sox and favorite players all season long by visiting whitesox.com/connect today.
So a pitching change here in the bottom of the 7th, and we'll be back.
Been used in and out of the bullpen by the Tribe. On for the 4th time is ERA .579. 19 hits in 9 1/3 innings. With the right-handers hitting a whopping .538 against him, he was in the rotation, and then Danny Santana was brought back from the minor leagues. McAllister now will toil out of the bullpen. He's a gigantic right-hander at 6'6", 240.
Alexei is 1 for 2, a double. That coming in the 2nd inning. And Cooper all over the place tonight. 0-1 to count.
I know you got dinner at Morgan's, but take it easy.
Mark Burley, the winner, is trying to beat Baltimore 13-6. Burley-Meister just keeps rolling. Burley now 3-0 already on this season. There's a hanger. He hit it hard, but foul.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it came in the second as Alexi gets a high fastball. One of the few mistakes that Carrasco made. Able to run and challenge Bourne, and he beats him at second.
Win by Burley, number 202.
He's got a team now that's going to score him a whole lot of runs. That Toronto offense, although they've had some pitching difficulties, nothing wrong with that offense.
Got a 51-footer. Broken bat. And a 1-2-3 inning. We're into the 8th, trailing by 5.
Four games, it was a little tough out of the bullpen with an ERA of 7.71. The last 8, the ERA at 1.25. So things getting a whole lot better. Look at the strikeouts to walks, 28-6. Our lows never stop improving stat.
We're into the top of the 8th inning. 6 runs on just 6 hits for them. 1 run on 5 hits for us at 1 run. First inning homer by Jose Abreu, his 4th of the year. First pitch strike. Also for 2, couple of strikeouts and a walk. Two and 1 to count.
Moss was the first man that Carlos Rodin faced, and he walked him.
Payoff pitch. It's softly broken bat. It sounded like. So it'll be a 5-3 if you're scoring along with us. Gillespie playing out there in short right field. And here's Rayburn making his second.
Flowers went out there to make sure that everybody got back in their normal position after that radical shift.
Rayburn had that broken bat flare into left field for a 2-run single. Two balls, two strikes. Good pitching matchup tomorrow afternoon, so make your plans to be with us. Jeff Smarja against Corey Kluber in the finale of this 3-game series. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it'll be the Kansas City Royals coming to town to conclude this homestand. That ball hit high and deep into right center field. Way back there. Looked like a hit on top of the fence.
Rayburn is going to pull up at second base with his second hit in his 2 at-bats. And Terry Francona wants to have a word with Lance Barksdale. He thinks this is out of the park. Gets up in the wind and keeps on drifting, and Ryan Rayburn will be in the Hall of Fame. He'll be facing the Sox every day. Terry thinks that that's a home run, and Adam goes up. It hits the top of the wall and bounds back into the field of play. From that angle, looks like a double. Terry's going to say it bounced off either the seats or the railing after it hit the top of the wall, but it didn't appear to from that replay.
So they have a meeting of the minds out there by the mound. You see, hit the corner right here, just above Adams' glove.
Never hit the railing and never hit the back wall. Just bounced straight up and bounced back.
So here's Chisenhall. He's 0 for 3. Two and 0 the count. Count evens at 2. He gone. First major league strikeout.
Throws him a slider. Gets to the middle of the plate. But he gets it by him. Something else he will always remember.
Here's Roberto Perez, 0 for 2, couple strikeouts, a walk, and a run scored. Softly hit. And that'll retire the side. Nothing across. There was a hit. Whereas one left to go to the bottom of the 8th, trailing 6-1. By Miller Lite and Carlos Rodon's first major league strikeout. Harsteiner's got that souvenir that will be nestled on his mantle someday. But right here, we need some runs. Tyler Flowers at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Big Zach McAllister. Pitch foul back.
He was originally signed and drafted by the Yankees. Yankees liked his size, liked his fastball. Chosen in the 3rd round in 2006 before finding his way to the Indians.
Well, the Yankees historically have really liked guys, pitchers from 6'5", 6'6". And the irony of that is that most of their productive pitchers have been anywhere from 5'11" to 6'2" and 6'3".
It's true.
Red Sox used to do that with hitters. They used to love to get those guys 6'4", 6'5". They were really good at 6 o'clock.
Phillies used to draft the biggest right-handers and bring them to the major leagues. They'd be 6'7" and 6'8". They'd break down a whole lot.
Well, back in those days, that was a different 6'7" and 6'8". The guys today 6'7" and 6'8". Different animal.
But a lot of times you'll find that the bigger guys don't use their legs near as much as the guys who are smaller. And if you don't use your legs when you pitch, you're going to put a lot of strain on your arm, and you probably are not going to last as long.
Tyler's saying, well, why don't you give my guy some of those pitches? One out.
This one had a part of the plate.
Yeah, but
I think Tyler felt that he squeezed the youngster on a couple of pitches that he might have given him but didn't.
That big bat to Moss.
Yeah. One on
had him struck out and
inside part of the plate.
Micah's 1 for 2. Michael led off that third with a base hit. We had something going there. As Adam Eaton. Watch out. One and two the count. As Adam Eaton laid down a beautiful bunt. So we had table setters aboard and then couldn't do anything with it. Ramirez. 2 down.
Time now for AT&T Multiview. And it is the aforementioned bunt. A perfect bunt. Right down the third base line, and no play at all for Chisenhall. And it looked pretty rosy at that point. But Melky grounded into an easy 2. And out of the inning as Abreu went down on strikes.
So Adam 1 for 3. Pass into center field. It's going to get down for the base hit. Let's pick up a couple right here.
Bourne does a pretty good job realizing that he can't get this sinking line drive. I'm not sure how he was able to stop it from going by him, but it's a good sign that Adam is starting to hit the baseball. He's 2 for 4 tonight, including that bunt. Drops this one in front of Bourne, who is able somehow on the long hop to keep it from going by him.
Melky, that strikeout, that 4-6-3 double play, and then he chopped a single right back through the middle.
Indians pitchers have yet to walk the White Sox hitter. That to go with the 12 strikeouts. Tribe pitchers continue to strike out a bunch of the opposition.
2-1.
I've been wondering if there's any 8th and 9th inning magic tonight.
Abreu on deck. Full count. Six runs on just 7 hits for them. No errors. 1 run on 6 hits. For us, also no errors. And that's back in center field for a base hit. And here comes Abreu. He's 1 for 3, a homer back in the first inning.
Well, the table setters are starting to heat it up. Both Eaton and Cabrera 2 for 4 tonight.
And there's a base hit. That will score. Melky will hold at second. And it's a 6-2 ball game. And here comes Adam. 1 swing of the bat, and we're right back in it.
Second run driven into the night and 9th of the year for Jose. Gets a little cutter on the outside part of the plate. Hits it off the end of the bat. And here comes Terry Francona. Undoubtedly. Another call to the pen. So it's a 4-run game as McAllister departs. We'll step out and be back after these messages. It out. He's on for the 7th time. 6 innings, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and just 4 hits. Not one left-hander this year has gotten a hit off him, and he's going to face Adam LaRoche with 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Adams Dewey's 0 for 3 tonight. Jacks it up, takes a strike. That one at 93. One in, 2 on, 2 out. Big rip.
Got a good fastball to hit there. It was a fastball on the outer third, just about belt high. But unfortunately, fouled it straight back. This was a very hittable pitch.
Too much time. All right, right here, Adam. The 1-2. Now feels slightly to the left. And a full count with Javi on deck. And the payoff pitch. Big rip by Adam just underneath it.
It's a little higher than Adam would have liked, but he's able to stay alive on the high heat, fouling it straight back.
Once again, slowly hit up the middle, throw to first base, not controlled by Santana, so that'll load him up and bring the tying run to the plate.
Looked like Ramirez rushed his throw. He had some time as Adam doesn't run all that well, so this is going to take Hagedorn out of the game. Takes it back up the middle. There is a shift, and he's got some time, but he rushed his throw. Santana cannot dig it out of the dirt. The bases are loaded. The tying run comes to the plate. Hagedorn leaves. And Terry Francona will call on his 6th Indians pitcher. That ball was in the glove ever so briefly. As it trickles out, we'll trickle out and be back after these messages. Shaw appearing in his 8th game this year. Appeared in 80 of them last year to lead the major leagues in that department. ZRA 491, 8 hits and 3 2/3 innings. Could very well be that he's having some problems with the cutter that he uses. 538 right-handers have hit against him, and he'll be facing a right-hander representing the tying run.
Here's Avi. Avi is due. He's 0 for 3 tonight. And that one. Cutter outside, way outside. 1-0 the count. Here we go, Avi. One and one to count.
This one had a piece of the plate. Made a mistake there and got away with it up in the eyes of Avi.
A ball and 2 strikes. Cabrera at third, Abreu at second, LaRoche at first. High into right field. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. It won't. And he did not make the play.
Ball trickled out of the glove. He had a shot at it. And Moss got tangled up with the railing. And the ball drifted away. So Avi's got another life. He's got a shot. And he just misses the catch. Has to balance himself. Comes away unscathed, but without the baseball.
So a huge break right there. And the count hangs at 1-2. And that's off the call. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gillespie on deck.
Avi's had a very good run with the bases loaded, a .500 on base percentage, .357 batting average.
Got him. And we're into the 9th, trailing 6-2.
#1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay previews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. And Zach Duke comes into the ball game.
And here's Jose Ramirez. Corners in close, outfield. Well, for the most part, straight up as there's first pitch strike from the veteran southpaw. 6 runs on 7 hits, 1 error for them. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for us.
Zach on for the 6th time. The ERA a little above 4.
One pitch. And once again, a reminder tomorrow, make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark. Justin Marja against Corey Kluber. Can't make it. That game will be right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Alexei's got him. 1 out. Michael Bourne 0 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt. Barrett short out there in left field. Outfield really spread out. As there's the strike, and the count evens at 1. For our guys in the bottom of the 9th, Gillespie, Ramirez, Flowers, scheduled hitters. Two and 1.
Jake Petrichka, who was back active and throwing in the pen.
Count evens at 2. And it's full. Take some other finals for you. Red Sox shut out Tampa Bay 1-0 down in St. Pete. Mets beat the Braves 7-1 in New York. As he walks him, so good speed aboard.
For the Mets, that's 9 games in a row they've won.
Mets are sitting at 11-3, and we mentioned Toronto and Mark Burley. Mark Burley 3-0 in the season as he beats Baltimore 13-6. 10 innings. Washington beats St. Louis 2-1. Phillies at home beat Miami 7-3. Miami 3-11 to start off the season.
For the second time this year, Baltimore pitcher threw behind Bautista of Toronto. And the second time after he got thrown behind, he hit a ball out of the ballpark in that at bat. So tempers flaring north of the border.
And tempers flaring in the Midwest as well. Tempers flaring all over the place in baseball.
Yeah, there's been some heated ball games already in this very early season.
Cubs came back to beat the Pirates 9-8 at PNC. Giants are 4-10 on the season. They lead the Dodgers 2-0 bottom of the 3rd. At AT&T, they got him picked off if he can get it there in time. He gone. Good throw by Abreu. So Bourne going on first move. Gets nailed.
Jose took his time. Bourne does what he has to do. Trying to get in the way of the throw, but gets there in time to get him. Good solid throw. And this time, no debate on the tag.
So 1-1 to count to Kipnis. Other action, Angels leading Oakland 3-0. That's in the bottom of the second at the Big A. Texas at Phoenix against the D-backs, tied at 1, bottom of the fifth. Rockies at home hosting San Diego. Rockies leading 5-3, top of the 8th inning. Kansas City has defeated. They came back to beat Minnesota 6-5. Yes, he did. And that'll retire the set. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. We need 4 to tie. One more time.
I'll try pitcher, not including the starter Carrasco, who went 5. Then it was Atchison, Zipchinski, McAllister, Hagedon, Shaw, and now Cody Allen, who had a tough time last time out. Said he wanted to tighten up his curveball, keep his fastball down. It's a good thing for Terry Francona to bring him right back to a situation that's not a save situation. Try to get him his confidence back, because he is the closer of this team, and the Tribe is going to need him if they're going to make any kind of a run this year.
So Gillespie will lead it off. He's 0 for 3, a fly out to left, and a couple of strikeouts. Start us off right here, Connor. Checked it up, did not go. Says Quinn Walcott. Good game last night behind the plate. "13 strikeouts for Indian pitchers." One and two. Six, 7, and 1 for the Tribe. 2, 8, and 0 for our Sox here in Game 2 of this 3-game set. 2-2.
There were 14,000 plus at the ball game tonight. A very chilly night at the ballpark. Not quite that many around these days.
Full count. Don't help him out. Call for a base hit right. Just got a piece of it.
There's still 2 guys down in that Indian pen. Anthony Swarzak, TJ House.
Well, let's get him in here.
A few have vacated the pen. 7 pitchers, 6 pensmen in this one so far.
And once again, the payoff pitch. It's high, and that's going to be a souvenir left side.
Not a real good play, but you would expect that the hand's a little chilly at this point of the evening. After the carom, the young man has a souvenir.
And once again, the 3-2. And that is one hopper. Got time, takes it, makes it, and that's 1 out.
Pretty good play by Kipnis going to his left.
Here's Alexei. He's 1 for 3, a double. Way back when in the 2nd inning. Takes a breaking ball strike.
That is a much tighter breaking ball than Allen threw last night. He said that was something he wanted to work on, and here he is back at it again. Like that one tweaked his back on a cool evening as he reached out, tried to hit that breaking ball low and away. He's still taking some time as he's still feeling the effects of this. Came up and got him right on the number 10.
He's a tough customer.
He's out there every day regardless.
Count is 1-2. After last night, that exceptional comeback, trailing 3-0, bottom of the 9th, 1 out, nobody on. We scored 4. First time we had done that since April 6th of 05 against these Indians. Came to the ballpark today expecting. Mr. Expectations gets you. You got to be able to. Got him. He knew it. 2 down. So here's Tyler. He's got to be able to temper those expectations. Tyler, 0 for 3. I'll tell you what, he's been having some good at-bats.
Had a good one last night after facing a great curveball on the outside corner. Allen made a mistake, and Tyler made him pay, drove it through the left side, and that turned out to be one of the big hits of the inning. Of course, when you're that far down and you come that far back, they're all big hits.
That's not a strike. And the count 1-1. So with 2 out, being down 4 runs, bottom of the 9th, that's a strike.
He's thrown 4 pitches out of the strike zone, and Tyler's going, you know what? Couldn't buy a strike for Rodon. No. And now everything's a strike.
Eric's all over the place. Always is. You don't know what you're going to. As a hitter, you don't know. And this ball game is over. So we can't do anything. Had 14 strikeouts tonight by our guys against Cleveland pitching as they even up the series of the game apiece. They won at 6-2, and Noesi really did not pitch that bad at all.
No, not much you can do with this one tonight. The Indians came out. They played pretty well. I thought that Hector threw well, and we saw Carlos Rodon making his major league debut. It will get better for the young man.
All right, our player of the game is Ryan Rayburn, that broken bat 2-run single. Our player of the game. So for my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angie, our producer John Waldron, our associate producer Chris Kamka, also our technical manager Mark Harper, and for the mayor Mean Joe Groove, Mike Mayer, Frank Leone, Frank D'Amato. This is a Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.